Welcome to the Donna Gordon Family Show. Yes, I hope you have been having a wonderful week and have been practicing some of those things we have been talking about in our series. And today, again, we want to share with you how to save your marriage. How are you going to divorce proof your marriage? How are you going to enjoy the wonderful times that you can have in your marriage, happy times? And so we do want you to stay with us because as you in studio with me is Pastor Gordon, and we're going to be talking a lot of things today, and I'm sure you're going to have good times listening to us.
Absolutely. I'm also delighted to see you, viewers. Yeah, metaphorically speaking. I know you're there, and we are happy to be keeping your company for the next little while. Now, may I ask that if you are sitting at home and your spouse is anywhere close to you, could you invite him or her to sit beside you? And I want you to hold your spouse's hand and sit so close that not even breeze can pass through both of you. There should be no space, nothing. I want you to sit close to each other right now as we talk together. We're happy that we can share with you on this issue of how to divorce proof your marriage, how to make it strong, how to put a rampart around it, put a barricade, how to have your marriage a quote unquote fortress so that all those divisive elements that seek to break marriages apart today will not penetrate the sanctity of your marriage. You know, marriages can be little heavens on earth. Even though we're seeing a lot of bad marriages, I want you to know that there are some pretty good ones around. In fact, in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique, we have some real good couples. We have husbands who love their wives dearly and who support their wives. We have husbands home early to help. We have husbands who are there playing the roles of fathers and doing the best they can to keep the romantic flame alive. We've got wives who are just nice and voluptuous and helpful and attractive to their husbands, and who are loving and caring and always have some sweet feelings of solicitude for their spouse. So good things are happening in the marriages. It's not all bad. But speaking of bad marriages, it's still incredibly tragic that 1 out of every 2 marriages ends in divorce. That's the statistic that we have seen in the last 10 years or so across the world, North America, Europe, and the Caribbean. The sad thing is that in our country, in our state, the Tri-Island state of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique, we're still seeing divorce, and the figures are not looking. In fact, I have in my hand the figures for the last couple of years, and when I look, for example, at 2006, we had 635 marriages that were solemnized. We had 146 people divorcing in 2006. That figure jumped to 166 in 2009. Then in 2012, we had 621 married, and we had 174 being divorced. 2013, the figure came down just a little bit to 158, but in 2014, there was a big jump to 194 people getting divorced in our little country. Now, something is happening. we need to um, look at this beautiful institution of marriage. What's going on? I remember a Rastafarian Jen was talking to me. I said, I and I, man, not getting married, because marriage is breakup. But the truth is that nothing is wrong with the institution itself. It's the people who are involved in it. And it's still a wonderful thing. So if the people who are married exercise maturity and do those things that will help the marriage to work, the marriage can work and will work. It's not if it will work, it's whether or not we are willing to make it work. Both partners together can make it work. Years ago, Mrs. Gordon, before they had all this electronic sophistication in the construction of musical instruments, the pianos, there was one particular brand of piano where for you to play the keys, somebody had to be behind there pumping, pumping it up. So one had to be pumping while the other one playing. It's a beautiful music would emanate in the church because the pianist would be doing very well. But what you wouldn't know if you were just sitting there enjoying the music is that behind the scenes somebody was working that the pedals to make sure that it was there so that the organ or the piano, whatever it was, could produce the sound. So it was like pumping and playing. I know that's kind of suggestive, but the truth is that that's how marriage works. There must be this complementarity of action. You doing one thing and the spouse is doing something else, and together you have beautiful marital music.
That's right.
Emanating from the home. And there is happiness. And there's several things that you can do, and Mrs. Gordon will take you through some of those things as we discuss them. Stay with us. We're going to our first break. We will be right back.
Home is supposed to be my comfort zone, yet I'm in fear and feel so alone.
My mother receives money. Yes, money from men who sexually abuse me.
I tried to tell my mom, but she won't listen to me. She said, he's my big brother, my uncle, your father, my man. Don't call anyone's name.
I never wanted this. I need to tell someone.
Please, help me.
A message from the Ministry of Social Development and its social partners.
Welcome back to the Donna Gordon Family Show. Wow, it's been a wonderful pleasure just being with you and to teach you, to educate the families so that you can enjoy the bliss that we are talking about. And as Pastor Gordon alluded to earlier, that so many marriages are breaking apart. Yes, we have very good ones. And so in order to divorce proof, one of the first things in your marriage is to look at acceptance. How do you accept your spouse? Am I saying that you're to tolerate your spouse? Or am I saying that he or she doesn't need to change and just let them be? Acceptance really is accepting the person with all their strengths and weaknesses. It is also looking at the way we think about family, and I'd say that's the systemic way of thinking about your family, looking at your husband or your wife from where they are coming from. Are they coming from a home where, in your husband's family of origin, father used to disregard mom, father never used to help in the home, or he was taught that, listen, a man does not wash the wares, or a man does not help with the children. Where is he coming from? And now you are together, now you are married and you have children, and he feels this is the duty of the wife. This is the duty of the mother. She's to take care of the children, she's to take care of the home, and she's to take care of me. We are looking at how can we change this? Yes, you're accepting that this is my husband. We're also accepting that where he's coming from was how he was taught. But now, as one in the home, seeing your wife working and getting tired and getting frustrated and feeling depressed, how can you now change and to help your wife? She's accepting you. Wife's accepting him, meaning you're not cursing him to say, oh, he's just like his father, or he's just like the man down the road. Accepting him is accepting everything about him, but speaking in a way that will help him to change.
Well,
That's a good-
I'm that you made a distinction between tolerance and acceptance. You know, when one tolerates somebody, it's a kind of conditional acceptance. It's like a half-hearted acceptance. It's not total acceptance. You're tolerating, okay, yeah. I'm just going along. I am just gritting my teeth and clenching my fists as I go along with this person. Not quite what I want. I wish he was not the way he is. I wish she was not the way that she is. But I'm just going along. Well, after all, we married already. We have the children. So I just go along. That's tolerating. But we're saying that if you're tolerating, there's gonna come a time when you're gonna get fed up
That's right.
of tolerating.
You're gonna be angry.
And the truth is that the symptoms are going to show up. When you're tolerating your spouse, it's going to come to the fore. You're going to see it. It's going to be evidenced in the way how you talk to each other, in the way how you self-talk, the things you say to yourself in your spouse's absence. It's going to indicate that you're really just tolerating. But in contradistinction to tolerance is acceptance. And we're saying acceptance is the total embracing of the... And as Mrs. Gordon pointed out, that does not mean that the objectionable character traits of the person are going to be ignored and pushed aside and repressed. No. If he is not domestically trained, that's one thing. But if he's not domestically trained and feels that he mustn't become domestically trained, that's quite another thing. So when we accept our spouses, we accept them knowing that they have weaknesses and they have shortcomings. They have signs of insufficiencies and inadequacies. But that's cool. We all do. But you're going to look at your spouse and say, I know you're not perfect. You've got some ways that, oh boy, I wish you would get rid of them. If I could just press a remote control and say, bing, and just get all those traits out of you, I would love that. But you know what, baby? You know what, sweetie pie? You know what, my darling? You know what, my prince or princess? I mean, the women would say prince, and the men would say my princess. You know what, my princess? I want to be with you in spite of your shortcomings, in spite of your inadequacies. I want to be with you. I've made a decision to be with you. We went to the altar together, and I'm going to be with you. That's acceptance. That's not tolerance. That's acceptance when you say, in spite of your leprosy, in spite of your issues, I'm not speaking literally now. In spite of your issues, I want to still be with you. Now, if you're sitting at home, right, or if wherever you are, you're in the patio. If your spouse is beside you, I want you to turn to your spouse and say, baby, in spite of your inadequacies and your weaknesses, I still love you. I still want to be with you. That's acceptance, Mrs. Gordon.
That's acceptance. That's acceptance. Accepting everything about your spouse. It is appreciating, but also highlighting the good qualities instead of the bad qualities. yes, you're saying at this time, but he doesn't want to change, but he doesn't tell me to do so and so. I'm saying to you, I want you to all encompass him and all encompass her by just accepting, this is my spouse, this is my wife, this is my husband, as Pastor Gordon is saying, and let them know what you appreciate about that person. Tell him what you appreciate about him. Tell her what you appreciate about her. Do we want them to change? Yes, there are some things that you would love to see change. But how do we then about getting our spouse to change? Is it beating them up? Is it cursing them into doing it? Or is it looking at the way we speak to our spouse? And that's another way of divorce proofing your marriage, the way in which you speak. And so you might say, honey, I'm exhausted, so tired. I've been up, baby, breastfeeding, and I need some help in the kitchen. Could you help me? I'm sure, husbands, if your wife speak to you in that manner, even though you don't like cooking, that you're going to go to the kitchen and actually help her. Am I right? I think I'm right.
Absolutely. Instead of saying, don't you have a heart? I'm doing all of this. I'm feeding the baby and whatever. And you don't care. Phone, you're just on WhatsApp, whatever. You know, Mrs. Gordon, instead of saying it in that way, and I know sometimes ladies react instead of responding to situations. You know, when you react, it's like a knee-jerk reaction. You just talk without thinking carefully about the impact of what you're about to say. And when you truly accept your spouse, you're going to speak in a way that shows that you accept them. Now, you speak nicely and don't compare them. I heard Mrs. Gordon alluding to that earlier. You know, Mrs. Gordon, I see some guys who are very brawny, and what they say, they have buff. You know, they they look all nice and well proportioned.
Yes,
and
they've been gymming.
Yeah, they've been going to the gym, and then you see some ladies and they have been going to the gym too, or they have been dieting and they've been cutting down on the carbs and the grease and the something fried chicken and what they've been keeping themselves nice and well proportioned. And some men will say, "Oh, look at Anne Marie Sherman. She's so well put together. Why you don't be like Anne Marie? Look at you. You're just so fat." No, those are not nice words. Mrs. Gordon is saying that when you're accepting your spouse, you must be careful how you speak. Well, look, you're so skinny. Your belly is so big. Why don't you be like Garvin Bowen and get some buff and why don't you do something? No, don't. When you accept us, do not negatively criticize them. Now, Mrs. Gordon, it's okay to encourage your spouse to, go jogging and say, I come with you. We'll get sneakers and track suits and stuff, and we go jogging together. We go gym together. And you, rather than speaking to them negatively and comparing them in a kind of harsh, vitriolic, negative way, you want to make sure you speak to them nicely.
In tones of love, because everybody has the need for love, and they also have the need to be given some form of approval. And so if you think your spouse is overweight, the way to speak to your spouse is saying, "Honey, I love you. I love your smile." Whatever you love about your spouse. But what about our health? Do you think you want us to be a little bit more health conscious? And you start talking about things about health, how important it is not to eat late in the night, how important it is not to eat and drink, how important it is to cut down on the sugar, and how important it is to cut down on the salt, and say, honey, would you like us to start an exercise program? We could go in the evening. We could let auntie keep the children, and we go walking. In that way, your spouse will never dream or think that you're putting him down or putting her down because you want to do this thing together. Because you're being thinking about health and how to be proactive in taking care of yourselves. You don't want to have diabetes, especially if diabetes in your family of origin. You don't want to become diabetic, and so you want to make an effort to take care of yourself. And one way in which you can take care of yourself is to watch what you eat. And so it's not to curse the person into not eating late, but say, honey, could we have our last meal at 6 o'clock? How are we going to get this done? We come from work at 5 and we're tired. How can we eat before 6:30 then? Well, we could maybe eat our heavy meal in the morning instead of having rice and peas and chicken and salad 5:30 in the night, in the evening. In the evening, or 6 o'clock. Or 10. let us have that early in the morning so that we can burn off all that energy. And so in the evening we can eat like a pauper. So in the morning you eat like a king. In the afternoon you eat like a queen. And in the evening you eat like a pauper. So maybe just some salad, a cup of tea, and some fruits, or maybe a slice of bread, because you're becoming more health conscious because you want to live long to stay with each other longer.
Absolutely. And the good thing about what you're saying, Mrs. Gordon, is that the person would already have felt your unconditional acceptance. So as you encourage the person to take care of their health, take care of their body, their appearance, the person knows that, listen, if I weigh 1,000 pounds, my husband still loves me. If I weigh 500 pounds, I hope nobody does, but whatever my weight, my husband's still gonna love me because he totally acts so. In his helping me to go on a weight loss program, it's not because he's rejecting me. It's because he loves me and appreciates me, accepts me, and he just wants me, as Mrs. Gordon said, to live longer, that we can have more happy moments together.
That's right.
So that is a critically important ingredient in divorce proofing your marriage. Your husband must feel like you love him, lady. And gentlemen, your wife must feel like you really appreciate her, you really accept her.
That's
and then,
right.
of course, all the other things will be properly contextualized when the spouses understand and experience the acceptance in the relationship. Stay with us. We're going to our second break. We will be right back.
Let me show you how vibes. Why is it some men take pleasure in abusing women?
Boy, I think it's a self-control issue them mothers go through.
Right.
But what I don't understand is why the man doesn't picture the mother, the sisters, the daughters, when the boy abusing the women physically, emotionally, and sexually.
The men too selfish. They need to have power over others. The men need to open their eyes and see pain they cause to the families by their actions.
But you know what's pissed me off again? When the man them rape and sexually abuse these women, they turn these healthy looking, beautiful young ladies into zombies, you know?
What man, why go to jail for something you could mutually agree upon and enjoy?
Seriously.
A message from the Ministry of Social Development and its social partners.
Welcome back to the Donna Gordon Show. Yes, you have been having a wonderful time. I'm sure you're sitting in the living room, being cozy together as you learn new concepts of how to make your divorce-proof your marriage. We spoke about acceptance first instance, and now we want to look at how we can show kindness and patience in our marriage. How can we divorce-proof our marriage? By showing kindness and patience, because kindness is taking the initiative to be kind to sorry to do something for your spouse, to let your spouse know, hey, I've been thinking about you. It's actually like being proactive. It's like thinking outside of the box. um as we would have observed over the years with some marriages, we speak to various couples. Sometimes they complain, female and males, that sometimes my wife is not kind. Sometimes my wife, um, she would not even look at me if I'm feeling sick. Or for the wife, if I'm doing something, it's mostly for females. She wants help in the house, or she just wants some form of affection, something, or somebody to say something nice to her, and her husband is just oblivious to this. He doesn't seem to be aware that his wife has these needs. And so he stays away, or he's so rough, he's so crude, he's not patient with her. She has to hurry, or he will drive away and leave her. He doesn't compliment her, he doesn't hold her hand. So it's very important that we pause and think about these things. How can we get kindness in our homes? How can you show kindness to your spouse at this time? What are the needs? And at this time, you can actually sit and talk with your spouse. Ask your spouse, how can I show you kindness? And let him tell you, and let her tell you.
Yeah, and I'm so happy, Mrs. Gordon, that you have highlighted those two concepts of patience and kindness. They kind of go together. One is more, well, kindness is expressing yourself in a loving way, doing stuff, and you used an expression earlier, out of the box. When people are kind out of the ordinary, they express kindness in non-traditional ways. It's just so beautiful. And if we can always be kind outside the box, outside, and just inundate your spouse with a Niagara of kindness coming down. I mean, there's a who, what has gotten into my husband? Man, he's just so kind. He's doing all sorts of things. While patience, on the other hand, is being able to control yourself to the point where you are not rash, you are not impulsive, you are not may I say, you're not irascible. You're willing to be quiet for a while, and on instances when you so, and allow your spouse to speak without those angry outbursts, without interrupting. Patience is allowing your spouse to be human. We sometimes think that our spouses are angels without wings, But the truth is that we're all humans. And as
right.
humans, we have character traits that we really need to get over. We need to get rid of them. And sometimes we don't do it with the degree of rapidity we need to. Some things are objectionable, and we don't get rid of them as fast as we ought to. But spouses, to divorce-proof your marriage, you gotta be patient.
That's right.
Understand that, gentlemen, you'll agree with me that wives can be miserable sometimes. One husband said to me, he said, to live with my wife, sometimes I need some earplugs. Just don't hear the stuff. And that was what he said. But they've been married time. The point is that, gentlemen, we've got to be patient with our wives.
That's right.
Because sometimes the wives, they're moody. Sometimes at a certain time of the month, the mood changes because of roller coaster hormonal changes, because of all sorts of issues. Worse if they're pregnant. Oh boy, then the whole psycho-emotional self, they are themselves. That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
And sometimes they respond to you in a certain way that they really didn't intend to. Sometimes they don't even know why they do what they do. Now, please, ladies, I'm not saying that you're stupid. That's not what I'm saying. Don't misunderstand me. What I'm
But you
saying
wouldn't
is
be
that.
saying that, Pastor Gordon.
Oh, absolutely not. I want to walk in the supermarket and keep my head from being bashed.
That's right, because
But the point is that, gentlemen, we need patient.
that's right.
Be patient with our wives. Easy, cool. In another country, they would say, cool your foot. Take it easy. Just understand that people don't always do revolutionary changes. They sometimes do evolutionary changes. They make change over a period of time, not
That's right.
abruptly and suddenly with alacrity. No, sometimes change comes over a period of years. We must be patient with our wives. Be patient with the husbands. Notice I never say with our husbands, right?
That's right. It's very.
So we must be patient with our wives, and ladies must be patient with their husbands.
That's right. Well, it is so important that you learn to be patient.
Absolutely.
And to be patient to get understanding, as you know, the scripture says you should get understanding. To get understanding is to understand the female species, knowing that there are sometimes, as Pastor Gordon says, where the hormones are affecting the female, and she's not her usual self. So is it the right time for you to quarrel with her, to drive and leave her, or should you be so understanding and patient to say, honey, what's happening? Are you okay? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling depressed today? Ask. Are you feeling emotional? Sometimes when you actually ask, she might just break down and cry, and because you just touched that chord inside the emotional chord that just needed somebody to listen to her. And similarly, sometimes males are experiencing difficulties emotionally, that is, challenges maybe at work, challenges with families of origin, and all sorts of things are happening as well. And then he tends to hold everything inside. He doesn't speak about it, and so he loses his temper. I'm saying to you, husbands, find a way to talk about it. Find a way where both of you can sit and find solutions together. I'd like to tap into what we call emotional intelligence. How take control of your emotions, both of you. How can you accept, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling upset at this time, or I'm feeling low in spirit. Tap into that, say what you feel inside, and then begin to change the thought processes. What is causing you to feel angry? Why are you angry? Write it down. Is it something you need to say to your spouse? Well, if you're going to say to your spouse, then the way you speak. Don't just be impulsive, but be in control. Turn to your spouse and say, let's practice, Pastor Gordon. Honey, I'm feeling very angry about the bill. I'm feeling angry about the bill. That, we had to use so much money to
But
pay the bill.
you can't be telling me that you're feeling angry about it and you're smiling like that. I'm feeling angry. You remind me of the two young people who came into my office and unwed, two teens in trouble with their parents because the young guy impregnated the other teenager.
I thought so.
They were actually, and he sat in my office, and both of them burst out laughing. Pastor Gordon, we're in big trouble. What's going on? Do they really understand what's going on? He's in trouble. She's in trouble. The teenagers, and she's pregnant. And that's what you're doing. You're angry, and Pastor, I'm angry. Anyway, I won't trouble you.
But when you're angry, you're taking control. So if you're speaking like
So
that,
look angry.
look.
For the viewers will say, okay, look angry.
Right. So we're saying, I'm upset about the
Or
bill.
if you look like that when you're upset, that would be nice. But I do agree with you.
Well,
I share the concept that
Yes.
we must be patient, and as the ladies express themselves, gentlemen, we have
Yes.
to be patient. And the other concept is kindness, and that going one step further. But you know, Mrs. Gordon, if I may just flip back to patience,
Yeah.
sometimes it seems like our whole being is crying out for immediate expression. But the immediate expression might not be good because what you're going
Might
to
not
say
appropriate.
might not be the appropriate thing. So you've got to learn some self-control.
That's
I think
right.
the best thing that's needed to be patient is self-control. You've got to control that anger. You've got to control that desire to want to get that to get her to understand him, to know that, and then she's speaking and you're interrupting, or he's speaking and you are interrupting. Oh, no. Be patient. Marriages where patience is exercised are marriages that tend to be a lot better.
That's right, and a lot more peaceful. And similarly with patients, husbands, I want you to also practice the way in which you speak, even though you're angry, as Pastor Gordy said, and I'm not looking angry, but when I'm yes, you will know I'm angry, but the tone, what I'm saying, should come across in a respectful, caring way as well. And so, husband, you want to be able to say in your deep voice, your deepest voice. Maybe Pastor will practice that so you will get an idea. But it is speaking to her in a loving tone as well.
Absolutely.
Like, say I'm upset or I'm concerned about whatever it is that he's concerned about, and how can we fix this together?
Absolutely.
How can we fix this together? How can we make it better? Instead of like saying, I'm the only one doing this and you don't care, and you're always like that. No. Speak to the person in a loving tone, and that's why we call it emotional intelligence, tapping to the emotion, accepting this is how I feel. Yes. And guiding to change the way you are thinking. I'm sorry. I'm not saying you're going to forget the way you feel. I am saying you're tapping into how you feel, admitting how you feel, and saying in your mind, I feel angry about this. I feel angry that I was spoken to like that. I feel angry that my wife did not listen. I feel angry. Yes, you feel angry. You are accepting this. And then you are now deciding, however, I am going to speak to her this way. This is what I'm going to say. Mary, I felt angry, or I felt hurt, or I felt irritable or irritated when we were in the supermarket and you walked away while we were talking. I really didn't like that. Notice you never cross as like, Mary, you're really disrespectful and rude, and you want me to give you a box. The men like to hit some of them. We are saying we don't want you to go
not
there.
Grenadian men.
Not Grenadian
Grenadian
men.
men don't beat their wives. Right? Grenadian men, in the state of Grenada, husbands don't slap or box their women. Am I right? Well, I hope I'm right. But
I hope so too. But instead of, moving from 0 to 100, from anger to rage, we don't want that. We want to practice taking control of your emotions, and that's what we call emotional intelligence. Changing your thought patterns and finding the proper way, more effective way of dealing with what you are feeling. Can I get you to practice? I need you to practice that. It's not easy. It will not be easy, but it's achievable if you practice. So practice, 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 practice the way you speak to each other. Take control of your emotions, and guess what? To divorce-proof your marriage as well, you need to pray together. We want you to stay with us as we take our third break. We'll be right back. back to the Donna Gordon Family Show. Yes, we have been having a wonderful time as we talk about proofing our marriage. Yes, just before we took the break, we were talking about how to be kind and how to be patient with each other. And Pastor Gordon, don't you believe that when husband and wives are patient and kind with each other, that the children will also emulate that?
Absolutely. The truth is that whatever one does in one's life, it's really not just for now, but it's also for the second generation. Your boys are watching, and also the boys in the neighborhood. They're watching. Your daughters are looking on, and the daughters in the neighborhood. So when they see a wonderful family where there is acceptance, where kindness and the patience are demonstrated and observed, they will want to have homes like they will understand that these things are supposed to be practiced. They're indispensable features of all marriages. They will want to have it. That's the point I'm making. They will want to have a home where the beauty of patience and the beauty of acceptance and kindness is seen 24/7. So indeed, Mrs. Gordon, all that we do in our homes, it's not just for now, it is also for the next generation. Every home is exemplary in one way or the other. Every home has an influence or has an impact on the generation coming up. What type of legacy would you like? I'm talking about marital legacy now. What is it that you want the next generation to have? Must the next generation be legacies of abuse and dysfunctionality? No. You want them to have an understanding of how to be happy, how to be playful, how to have a beautiful home. And thus, when the home is good, the school will be good, and the church will be good, and the neighborhood will be good, and the whole society and the nation will be good, and the region will be good. It all begins with the single most important social unit, the family. So, expressing kindness and patience, let's practice. We promise you sometime in the future we'll do a part 2, because we realize for today's show we only really scratched the surface, Mrs. Gordon. Only scratch the surface, indeed.
And so this week I want you to practice, tolerating. Now begin to not tolerate, accept your spouse. Accept your spouse. Look at those good qualities that you see in your spouse, and I want you to have those things this week. What are those things you like about your spouse? Every day, then choose one and tell your spouse, honey, I like this about you. Honey, I appreciate this about you. It is so important that you empower your spouse into growth and to empower your spouse to love you the way you want to be loved. So accept your spouse and practice patience and kindness. Husbands, last have you gone into the kitchen to cook her something nice? Make sure you practice that as well, and put a smile on her face and a chuckle when she laughs, when she tells her girlfriends and her co-workers, guess what? Harry cooked for me on Sunday, and the food was sumptuous. Yes, practice. And remember, the family that prays together, plays together, will stay together. Have a great week, and may God bless you.